When it comes to the hiring process, large organizations have those who specialize in interviewing and selection of candidates. They know the right questions to ask and the right attributes for a particular position. But what about us who are part of a small organization, maybe a small business or nonprofit? We may only need to make a employment selection once or twice a year. What should we know? We often take the risk of hiring somebody just to see how they're going to work out. This can be a very costly and time-consuming decision. During this video, we're going to share with you some ideas and concepts to consider during the hiring process. In his book, The World is Flat, Tom Freeman discusses a method of evaluating the potential of any employee. Traditionally, we hire based on experience and knowledge, which we might define as the intelligent quotient. But consider the curiosity of an individual. Would you want somebody who is always in a learning mode? Have you ever seen somebody join an organization who believes that he or she knows it all? Tells you how it was done on their last job. Is less concerned with the reason you do things the way you do them. They will never grow in the position or change as markets change. That is known as the curiosity quotient. What about candidates' passion for the work they do? Are they just there for the paycheck? Are they enthusiastic in a way that rubs off on others and is evident to clients and customers? Or do they think they're doing you a favor by just showing up? What Freeman suggests is the sum of the curiosity and the passion quotient are much more important than the intelligence quotient. When you ask an employer what he is looking for in a candidate to fill a job, the responses often include someone that's going to show up every day. No matter how talented or knowledgeable a candidate is, they are no use to a company or organization if they are not present. We want somebody who works well with others. In a team environment, everyone needs to work together. Destructive conflict limits productivity. We want somebody who respects customers and clients. Customers and clients are not a nuisance. They are the heart of any successful company or successful organization. We want somebody to be a learner. Continuous learners can be given increased responsibility and make your life a little easier. But we spend a lot of our time looking at specific skills and experience. They can't be ignored, but they are not the only thing to be considered. We suggest that you start with what human resource professionals refer to as a job specification. This is not a job description. A job description describes what people in that job are responsible to do. It is a to-do list. A job specification is a list of attributes a candidate must have in order to be successful in a particular job. The first of that is knowledge. Knowledge refers to the factual or procedural information necessary to perform the task. For example, you can't be an electrician unless you have an understanding of the basics of electricity. You can't be a programmer unless you know computer programming. You can't be an engineer unless you have an engineering education. Skills are the level of proficiency at a particular task. Does the electrician have the ability to wire a full range of equipment without supervision? Does the salesperson have a history of exceeding annual goals? Does the engineer have the skills necessary to work without support or direct supervision? Abilities are capacities. Do they have the capacity of making a speech in front of a group? Do they have the capacity to write a good business letter? And finally, we have the other category. These are the other attributes a candidate must possess for a specific position and are the prerogative of the person doing the hiring. Take, for example, motivation. What motivates a candidate? Are they self-motivated? Persistence. Will they give up at the first sign of an obstacle? Now, these things may seem like soft skills, but they are skills that are necessary, and there are tools available. We have tools available to help measure these things. Where do we go to find candidates, or better yet, a list of candidates to choose from? Well, there are the traditional sources, newspaper ads, which are getting less popular as are newspapers. Trade magazine ads. Usually trade magazines would have an employment section in the rear of the magazine. We have websites like Monster.com and CareerBuilder, which are excellent tools. We also have recruiters, whether they be executive recruiters or recruiters who are recruiting for a specific specialized skill. They can be useful. But all of these are expensive. But if you have a specific position in mind, need to be considered. Here's some others. Craigslist can be used to target residents in a specific area or location, and it's free. LinkedIn has a job posting service which is worthwhile and costs less than $200 a month. Post the ad on Facebook. Ask your employees and friends if they know somebody who might be interested. Referrals are an excellent source of people. And finally, always be looking. Whether you have a job to fill or not, always be looking. Talk to people at trade shows and conferences. Talk to people at the chamber events. Always be looking because you never know what the future will bring. Here's some thoughts. A players always hire A players. When you're at the top of your game, you want to work with others who are at the top of their game. You're not threatened by them. You're motivated by their involvement. B players hire C players. B players will never hire an A player or a B player. They find them threatening to their position in the organization. They will hire C players because they do not propose a threat. The lesson here is if you have a B player involved in the selection and hiring process, be aware. I would suggest that you be deeply involved in the final hiring decision. Hire people who take responsibility for their actions. Everybody makes a mistake. Some take responsibility and learn as a result of that mistake. Some refuse to take responsibility and refuse to make it a learning experience. Ask people to discuss mistakes they've made in the past and what they've learned from them. Hire people who make mistakes of commission, not of omission. Don't you want somebody who at least tried and failed over somebody who didn't even try? Here's some ideas about interviewing. An open-ended question requires more than a yes or no answer. An open-ended question provides the opportunity for another question to be done. For example, if I ask the question, what did you like most on your last job? The answer might be, I liked working with people who were there. Then that leads to the question, well, what did you like most about working with those people? And the answer could be they always pitch in to get things done. Now, you can continue asking these open-ended questions and see how these open-ended questions lead to the development of a conversation within which it reveals a more of the candidate's likes and dislikes. The second idea is be a good listener is shut up. There is a natural tendency to start talking during any silent period. Avoid jumping in. Let them do the talking. Discuss their job history and experience. Ask what they liked and disliked about their previous jobs. Do you think those likes and dislikes are part of the position which they are interviewing? How does that apply to the job which they're interviewing? Always ask why they left their previous job. Was there a personality conflict or unrealistic expectations? What is the best job you ever had? What is the worst job you ever had? Why is a great open-ended question to follow up on that first question. Tell me about your last boss. Well, if they didn't like their last boss altogether, they may not like you. Very important. Beware of the halo effect. The halo effect is when one's aspect of the candidate's experience or credentials is glowing so brightly that it outshines everything else. For example, if we have an engineer who has a dozen patents in an area of its study important to your organization, don't let those patents outshine the fact that he doesn't work well with others and rejects authority. In the long run, those negative traits will come back to haunt you. Always get someone else to interview the candidate. Not with you, but separately. It's like playing golf and you have that putt to line up on the green. Don't you look at the shot from several angles? Well, it's the same thing. Different people have different perspectives of the same candidate. Get their opinion and compare notes. If you don't have an employee whose judgment you trust, ask a friend or a spouse to meet the candidate. Don't assume that they know that this is a good place to work. Do a little selling. Tell them about the company's success and how the employees have received benefits as a result. Be factual and don't oversell or make false promises. State your expectations on what is expected of somebody who is awarded this position. What do they need to be doing in 3 months, and how will they get there? What do they need to be in 6 months, and how will they get there? No statement of expectations leaves a new employee with a lack of focus on what is really important. As a review, please remember, don't only hire people based on skills and experience. Write that job description and use it as a basis for evaluating every candidate. Use the new media and internet for your search. And finally, let them do the talking during the interview. That's the purpose. This is a small part of a larger workshop in which this subject is discussed. We do these workshops on a regular basis, and if you'd like to learn more about this subject or talk to us about a workshop or some coaching, please contact us by phone or email. We also suggest you visit our website, www.plangoals.com.